This is my 1989 BMW E30 325IS, and I purchased it earlier this year for $3,000. This is what the interior looked like. It was heavily neglected, dirty, things were falling apart, very smelly. It was an absolute disaster, which pretty much explains why I haven't uploaded an E30 video in quite a bit. I had to source a lot of those interior parts, and it's much harder than what you think. I would say 80% of the parts needed, you can't even buy brand new, so then you have to source them used, and hopefully they're in good condition. Oh, and not to mention, those that have E30 parts in good condition, they like to tax. Of course, I could have made an E30 video on exterior, engine maintenance, suspension, but I wanted to make sure that the interior comes first, since that's where I'm going to spend most of my time. And now I'm finally done with the interior, and it took a lot of work. So yeah, we're going to be working on the E30 today. I think it's been about 2 months since the last upload, and since then you guys have been sending me messages on Instagram asking me what happened to the E30 build. Did you guys get rid of the car? What's going on? Give us some updates. Well, pretty much I was ordering parts. It was really hard to come across a dashboard that was not cracked for a decent price. Man, people love to tax for those dashboards. On eBay, they're like $600, $700, $800 plus like $200 shipping, and I refuse to do that. I refuse to buy that. So I decided to just be patient and look for the right one, and I did buy one from a guy that was like 3 hours away. 400 bucks, I think 475 bucks, which is a win. And just because I don't film videos doesn't mean that I'm not working on it. A lot of the stuff was happening behind the scenes. I took the door cards out so I can replace a lot of the pieces, like these clips, the screws, clean out the door panels, replaced like the door handle trim that goes right here. The kick panel right here that's on the driver's side, it was missing, so I had to buy another one. That took a while to get here from ECS Tuning. All the stuff for the seats, the mechanisms, went ahead and removed the rust, greased it all up, so that way when I do put the seats back in, it works good, there's no hiccups, and it's not seized. The back of the seats are right here. This is the old material from the seats that I took out. And this is actually one of the seats that I upholstered myself, which was an absolute nightmare to do. It took forever because of the learning curve. But I went ahead and did the top portion, the bolsters, the bottom portion as well, and took care of all the wires and all the mechanisms underneath. So yeah, this hit came out pretty good. I didn't film a lot of the upholstery part on the seats because honestly, I didn't think my viewers would be interested. People typically just want to see the before and after. Nothing in between. Plus, this was a very slow, tedious, and stressful process. Having to manage a camera would make things much longer. If I remember correctly, I think it took me about 15 hours to upholster the first seat, guys. 15 hours. Once I took off the old material, the bolsters were shot. I would say half of them were shot, so I had to get a replacement. Trying to find driver's side replacement for the left side was even harder. Then to find out that the bottom frame of the seat was completely damaged and unrepairable, so I had to source another one, which was very hard to find for the driver's seat because they're pretty much all mangled. Also had to order new wires, clips, so all the mechanisms on the seat work properly. Oh yeah, and I went to 3 different top base frames because people online clearly don't know that the convertible frame is not the same as the coupe frame. And on top of spending all that time trying to source all the parts needed for the seats, I also didn't get my money back for the incorrect frames. So yeah, it's been a very long and stressful process. If you guys missed the last video where I went ahead and completely cleaned out the interior, it looked nothing like this. It looked really bad. I'll leave a link to that video down in the description below. It's pretty satisfying how I was able to get a 31-year-old carpet to look pretty brand new. Anyways, continuing with the parts that I got for the E30, we have like the center console thing here with the e-brake boot. Mine was in pretty bad condition. Peeling right here, it didn't fit right. It was like discolored, and parts of it was just kind of loose and not very tight fitting. Like I said, door handle trim right here. Also got what they call, I think it's the OBC computer, a little part that goes right here next to the radio. This is crazy expensive if you buy it brand new, like OEM. It's like $1,000 on ECS Tuning. I said screw that, found it on eBay for like 100 bucks used. And according to the seller, it works perfectly. We'll find out later on. The ashtray trim, it was something that I was missing also by the center console, so I went ahead and got one as well. Also got it on eBay. In here, these are all the clips for the door cards. Since they weren't really fastened all the way, the door cards were just kind of flapping away towards the bottom side. So I went ahead and got all the clips and all the screws necessary for that. This is the AC here for like the temperature control and the radio trim. Mine is pretty much cracked in several places, so I went ahead and got a new one of these. Pretty cheap as well. And then this right here is a very special package from Aza Auto Wheel. If you guys watched my 335i interior modification video in the past, you would know that I got a really sweet custom wheel from them. So I had them send me one out for the E30 as well. And based on the pictures they sent me, what does that say? Anyway, so I haven't seen it yet. This is the first time I'll be seeing it in person. I've seen pictures of it, but I've never seen the custom steering wheel in person. I wanted to make sure that I unwrap it while I'm making the video. Sure. So I can get my initial impressions. Faster, my friend, faster. No, they really want to make sure that that wheel makes it safe to the United States without any imperfections.
I'm losing patience already.
Yeah. Hold on. I just noticed something. You got dirty gloves on.
Yeah, and
here you go.
It's plastic. Huh? It's plastic.
Oh no, you're gonna get to the wheel eventually.
Yeah, and then I go like this.
Okay.
You ain't the only one that has Alcantara.
Okay. You got Alcantara?
I got Alcantara too. But guess what? It's from China. A few moments later. Dude, it won't come out.
Alright, I can see some color. Alright, so that's taking a little longer than I anticipated. But that's okay, because at least we know we got an immaculate steering wheel. I mean, that's one way of eliminating the fact that your product gets damaged on the way to a different country. He's still at it. This is probably going to be the longest unboxing you guys have ever seen.
This is why you buy eBay. It just comes in a USPS envelope.
Like my tail lights. We can try. Ooh.
Oh my god.
What?
Oh, there's nothing there.
No, that was just to protect the hub in the back. Ooh.
The horn better work.
Ooh, that looks clean. How you like that flat bottom though? Typically not used on a E30 because it's more of a modern look, but I don't think
why
it
is
looks
this wheel giant?
Because it's not the 370 millimeter one. That's really hard to find and more expensive. This is the standard one, like this one, 380 millimeters. The M3 one is the one that comes with, I think, 370 millimeters. Oh. You see that gray though to match the door cards? This is why I told you I'm not eliminating those. Oh. Thank you, sir. Thanks, man. If you guys watch my 335i episodes, I'm sure you guys are very familiar with Aza Auto Wheel. They sent out a custom steering wheel for the E93 and you guys thought it was dope. That video generated like 500,000 views, so they decided to send one out for the E30. And unlike last time, they actually now makes custom steering wheels for any car, guys. That's right, any cars. Whatever material you want, whatever design, race car, flat bottom, Alcantara, leather, carbon fiber, you name it. If you're interested in getting a high quality custom steering wheel for your car, I'll leave a link to their Instagram down in the description below. Hit them up. Ooh, this is pretty. So as you guys can tell, I got a pretty similar design as the 335i. Alcantara on the top and the bottom, leather on the side with the M colored stitching around the inside. The reason I did this is because I've heard in the past from people that own Alcantara steering wheels, Alcantara deteriorates pretty fast, starts to fall apart after a few months of use if you have it on the side here, where it's normally when you rest your hands. So I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to have to keep maintaining it, so I only put in the top portion, which your hands are going to touch not that many times. This is a very nice feeling leather, perforated, really cool. BMW solid leather right here, unlike the perforated one that's right here. This looks really freaking solid. It's gonna look really good on here. Oh yeah, look at that difference. Boom, 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 boom. I cannot wait. By the way, this is what's the styling on this one? M-Tech 2 or something like that. This is yeah, this is M-Tech 2. That's why it looks slightly different than the one that's on here. But yeah, looks good. It's slightly bigger because this is not the one that came in the M3, which is a smaller one. But that's okay. And I can't wait to use this. And just so you guys know, this one does not have an airbag. Most E30s, I think 90 and older, didn't come with airbags. I think it was like later on in 91 is when they introduced the airbags, and that was like something, the law or something like that. So just know that if you do have a newer model E30 that came with an airbag, and you get one of these custom ones, you're probably not gonna get the airbag installed. Very clean stitching back here. Looks really good. Let me inspect the teeth of the hub here. You guys probably can't see it on camera, but they're solid. This is very important when you're getting an E30 steering wheel custom made. Always want to inspect the teeth back here, that they're in solid condition, or you won't be able to turn the vehicle very well. Yeah, the craftsmanship on this is really freaking sweet. I like it. Looks very good. And I'm sure the M logo is probably gonna get you guys to comment that this is not an M vehicle. That's okay. You guys can comment all you want. I don't care. Looks good. And I'm sure that after I'm done with this E30, it's gonna be spanking M cars anyways. I've done enough research to find out that the dashboard to remove is probably one of the most painful things to do on the E30. Not because you can't remove it, it's just everything here is like 31 years old. All the wires are thin, they're brittle, they can break, especially the ones behind the center console here. Things could get fragile. The actual brackets can go bad and all that good stuff. So I was not looking forward to removing the old dash and installing a new one. I've heard some crazy stories online, some nightmare stories, talking about how it can take up to 30 hours to do it yourself if you don't know what you're doing. Things are gonna crack, guaranteed. Things are gonna break. And yeah, I went ahead and removed the surface rust on the side brackets of the dashboard and painted it in matte black. I wanted to make sure I take care of the little things before I install it. Once you start taking out the interior, you start to realize how old these cars are. You hear creaking and squeaking, and you hear tabs being snapped in half, and it's just a very uncomfortable feeling. Like, listen to me trying to remove the center console. Just listen to it. For the most part, a lot of the interior parts are very easy to come off. I mean, this is 30 years ago when things were a lot less complicated than they are now. But the reason I took my time and I was a lot more careful is because it was so easy to break things. Like pretty much what I did to the center console. And this right here is what 31 years of buildup looks like. Freaking disgusting. I'll make sure I wipe down and vacuum this up before putting everything back together. Anyways, let me go ahead and continue removing the dashboard. So far, it doesn't seem too hard. Fingers crossed. That's as much as I'm going to do today. I only had a few hours to spare. I'll come back next time and continue where I left off at. By the way, guys, if you didn't know, I did release a limited quantity vehicle viral shirt with a BMW up front. I only released 100 shirts. I still have some left in every single size. If you're interested in supporting the channel, I will leave a link down in the description below so you guys can get one before they're gone. All right, so it's the next day. I'm back here with the E30. I'm going to continue taking everything apart. It's definitely a mess in here, and I'm not even halfway through pulling out the dashboard. It's gonna be pretty insane, and I think very challenging to put everything back together afterwards because there's so many screws and clips, and I don't know how I'm gonna do it. It's definitely gonna be challenging. I try to do my best to sort them out, but we're just gonna have to see how that works out. You see, some people have the gift of having a photographic memory, and they can remember where everything goes, no matter the size, no matter how similar they look. That's not the case for me, especially when I'm splitting up the job between a few days. Maybe if it was the same day, I would have a lot of these bolts and screws fresh in my mind to where they belong. But when it's a different day, that's a whole different story. But anyways, I did try to group them up as best as I could. A few of them here, a few of them here, a few of them here. If you guys have any tips on how to stay organized on jobs like this, feel free to let me know in the comment section below, because this is definitely messy. Anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and continue removing this nasty dashboard. It's gonna look so clean once the new non-cracked dashboard goes in. Can't wait to see that. I do apologize for the lack of lighting inside of the interior. I know it's pretty dark and it just kind of makes the footage very muddy. I did have access to a light later on and you guys will see that. Of course, since I'm editing the footage and I'm fast forwarding and I'm cutting a lot of stuff, it looks pretty simple and pretty quick. Don't let that fool you. This took hours and hours of work. It was not simple at all. That sound you guys just heard right there, you don't know how satisfying that was to hear that. Once the dash came loose, you hear that pop sound. As you guys can see, I finally managed to pull the dashboard out. It was definitely very, very tedious. Now to put everything back in is gonna be a nightmare. Just look at this. This looks freaking nuts. It looks like a dumpster, honestly. That's the best comparison I can give. And somehow, I'm gonna have to install the dashboard over all of this. I'm sure I can figure it out. Will it be easy? Probably not. Will it be annoying? 100% yes. Here's a better look at the condition of the dashboard that I just pulled out. You guys have already seen the multiple cracks on top. On the bottom, it's not terribly bad. Looks like everything is intact, but obviously we need it to look pretty up here where you can actually see it. We don't need it to look pretty under the bed. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and take the new dashboard, try to wipe it down, make it look as new as possible. I'm gonna take the inside of the E30 and try to clean that as much as possible because it's absolutely filthy in there. And once I wipe everything down, then I'll go ahead and attempt to install this dashboard. And then we'll move on to the other mods like the steering wheel, center console, and so forth. All right, so I went ahead and cleaned the inside portion where the dashboard normally lays at. I did as much as I could. I think I did a pretty good job. Looks pretty clean, other than like this texture stuff that's around the vents here, but I'll deal with that. But yeah, came out pretty good. Essentially I just used some all-purpose cleaner to clean everything out here, and then I used air compressor to remove all the loose particles, which was a lot of it. I had to put something over my face because it was super toxic. So yeah, let me go ahead and clean the dashboard and then we'll go ahead and install it. I probably should have installed new foam for the ventilation system since the old one was pretty bad and useless. But one, I did not have the material on me, and two, I don't think I'm going to be using AC in the future, especially with the swap that I have planned for the E30, so I skipped out on it. And I'm definitely not taking the dash back out just to do that. So I went ahead and fully cleaned the dashboard I'm going to be installing onto the car. I did notice that there's a few, I guess, dry marks. Maybe I can get some like vinyl revival type of product that can make it look brand new. Not the greasy stuff, I don't want a freaking mess, but something that's gonna make it look better. But not too bad. This is all the dirt and dust that came off of it. This was a perfectly white towel. Actually, you might be able to see it. No, never mind. Anyways, it was super white and all of this came off of that dashboard, which weird enough exposed all the dry marks and kind of faded marks. That's okay, I'll take care of that later. I think I'm gonna go ahead and switch the VIN numbers from the old crack one over to this one so it matches with the rest of the car. One thing that I did notice before I decided to start installing the new dash onto the E30 is that some of the vents and some of the brackets on the backside were broken. So I went ahead and disassembled the old dashboard parts in the backside and swapped it out to the new dashboard. And of course, the vent that I needed was right in the middle, so I had to take everything apart. It literally took an hour just to get the dashboard to sit in the proper location. It was almost impossible to get it over the steering column. I had to remove the two stalks on the right hand side just to get it up there. It was very, very stressful. Honestly, I probably should have removed those stalks a long time ago, but every write-up that I found online left the stalks on. Like, how? The crazy thing about this dashboard is that you had to lay it on there in the perfect position. Like, there was no room for error, no gray area, no maybe side. It was, you had to get it 100% spot on for it to fall in place. Alright guys, so I ran out of time for today. I think I'm more than halfway through with installing the new dashboard, but I already misplaced some bolts, which I knew was gonna happen. I don't even know how I lost them, because I thought I grouped them together somewhere in the interior of the car, but oh well, I gotta source some new bolts. But anyways, that's it for me for today, and then I'll come back and continue the video next time. I think I should be able to get everything done in the next video, since the dashboard was the most complicated thing. Center console, steering wheel will be a very easy thing to do. So yeah, catch you next time. I just couldn't wait to install this Aza Autoway onto the E30. I purposely left it for last so I can get motivated to finish everything else before I get to it. And guys, to be really honest with you, this is the hardest I've ever worked on any YouTube video of mine. It took like 80+ hours to do absolutely everything, and all I ask in return is a like. It's easy to do and it doesn't cost you anything. Helps me a ton. All right, back here with the E30. Hopefully I can put everything back into place and put all the accessories that I bought for it and finish everything today so I can edit the video and show you guys the finished product. Wish me luck. That dashboard is still a little complicated, even though I got it into place. There's a bunch of freaking cables running everywhere. I've lost some screws, but I'm gonna try my best and finish it up. So I wouldn't say I have a severe case of OCD, but I would say partially. I spent 2 to 3 hours just trying to remove this gap that's along the dashboard in the windshield. I literally spent 2 to 3 hours removing, installing the dashboard, and I couldn't fill it up. It was impossible. I was able to get the gaps on the sides to close up because I can stick like a flat-headed screwdriver underneath and just kind of push it up a little bit, but the middle was impossible because of all their air vent system. Luckily at PSI there were 2 other E30s that I could look at to see what their gap looked like, and upon inspecting the other 2 E30s I noticed that there was a small rubber trim in between the windshield and the dashboard that eliminated the gap, so I had nothing to worry about. All I had to do was buy the rubber trim piece. Just look at this huge mess of wires. Like, it was freaking insane, and half of them weren't even connected to anything. So it's definitely harder to install the dashboard than it is to take it out. Maybe because I wasn't too organized about the entire process, but even knowing where some things go, it's almost impossible to install. It blows my mind how it was installed there in the first place. Yeah, so if you ever try to do this yourself, definitely try to stay as organized as you possibly can. I could definitely see the end of the tunnel. I'm almost there. Let me show you my progress so far. The dashboard's looking really good. I just installed this part. I routed some of the wires up this way, so when I do the clutch depart, I think I'm gonna go ahead and move to the central area where the radio's at next. It's a bunch of craziness going on here with all these wires. And I think this was wired for like aftermarket music, which makes it more complicated. There's wires here that just weren't here before with a bunch of these connectors, which is nuts. So I'll do that next. Then I'll take care of the glove box, and then that should be it for the dashboard. Alright, well, let me show you the status so far. I'm gonna leave for the day. It's already like 8 o'clock. I would say I have about 30 minutes left, and that's it. Gotta get all the wires and stuff plugged in there. Center is already done. Put the center console, which is easy. It clips right on. And then the glove box. And that's it. And then I'll go ahead and put the steering wheel. God damn it! I would say that in total it took me about 20 hours to completely remove the dashboard and install the new one properly with all the pieces. Honestly, I don't remember the last time that I worked that hard continuously on the same car on the same damn job. Alright guys, this is how we're looking so far. Dashboard is all set. Center console, I just installed the kick panel. It's looking really good. I only need the glove box to put on, which is going to be hectic because I forgot completely how I took it all off. Those are some of the pieces that need to go back in there. Then I'll put the center console And yeah, we're almost done. Very excited, very happy. Definitely a lot of hard work, but it pays off once you finish. The steering wheel, I think I'm gonna leave that to the end once I get the seats installed on here. And then that's pretty much gonna be the cherry on top. So yeah. So finally, the hardest part is out of the way, and I'm super relieved, and it feels very rewarding. Like, I feel really happy that I did all of this myself, but it's very, very tiring. I did have to borrow some parts to complete this, like the trim that goes right here for the temperature control. This little plate that goes there. Me and Ali had broke it when we were disassembling the dashboard, so I went ahead and borrowed it from Sean's M3. Told him how to get him a replacement one, so I went ahead and installed that. For whatever reason, I forgot to get a replacement shift knob, which the old one looks like complete crap. Just look at it. It's completely freaking bad. And the shift boot is also very bad, so Ali went ahead and allowed me to borrow his Alcantara shift boot with his M Sport shift knob, which of course this is not an M, so feel free to comment in the section and give me hate. I don't give a crap. I need to order a new shifter knob and a shift boot, which I'm going to do that tonight, so that should be arriving here very soon. I'll probably get a very similar shift boot because it's going to go with the Alcantara on the steering wheel from Mazda Auto Wheel. So yeah, there we go. Looks good. So yeah, dashboard, cluster, center console. I do have these. I have to look for them. I'll put those on when I find them. I did remove them. And yeah, glove box, kick panel, center console looks really good. We got the ashtray here, or coin holder, whatever you want to call it. And I'm just gonna go ahead and get the door panels and put the seats in. And that's it, we'll be done. The interior was looking pretty damn nasty after the dashboard swap, so it was only right that I give it a nice vacuum. That's where I'm going to leave it for part 1. Make sure to subscribe with the notification bell on so that way you don't miss out on part 2. Guys, I've seen the finished product and it's unreal. You do not want to miss it.